Hello, my name is Atifa and I welcome you all to the latest episode of Around the World in 7 Days. West Asia remains the center of discussion in the international political world these days. There have been recent incidents and developments that have inevitably turned the attention of the world media towards the Gulf. Whether it is the blooming friendship between Iran and Saudi Arabia, which were till recently considered arch enemies, or the rumors of war between Iran and Azerbaijan, the Gulf has been garnering the attention of the world. The recent decision of OPEC Plus to cut oil production by 1.6 million barrels per day has also surprised the world. This step is being seen as a blow to America. It is believed that through this step, the Gulf countries are trying to put pressure on America, who has already suffered a major setback in this region. In fact, China, which is considered to be a prominent rival of America, had made its presence strongly visible in the region recently. China had achieved a great success in bringing Saudi Arabia and Iran to the negotiating table. When America is considered to be influential in Saudi Arabia and the differences between Iran and America are firmly established, this friendship between Saudi Arabia and Iran is a major breakthrough for China. Apart from this, there are many such factors which show how China has succeeded in breaking into the US bastion. From this, one can identify the growing diplomatic relations between the Islamic countries and China. At the same time, these countries are forging close relations while forgetting their enmity. A very important question that arises here is, what is the position of India in these rapidly changing equations? Has India become isolated following the growing cohesion of Islamic countries? The another question is that whether India is just watching the Gulf game from a distance, or is it developing a strategy to dive deep into the Gulf? We will try to find answers to all these questions, but first of all, let's know how the Islamic countries are uniting. The thawing of ice in the relations between Saudi Arabia and Iran is a recent phenomenon. Other countries in the region have also been coming closer to each other by forgetting their enmity. Last year, the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan visited Saudi Arabia, and then a few months later, Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince and Prime Minister Mohammed bin Salman went to Turkey. These two countries are historically said to be staunch enemies of each other. When UAE, that is the United Arab Emirates, the Saudi Arabia were ideologically together in the regional conflict, Turkey was in the opposing camp. When the Arab Spring sparked a revolution in the region in 2010, Erdogan's pro-Muslim Brotherhood party supported democratic values, while Saudi Arabia and the UAE have monarchical systems. Apart from this, Turkey and Saudi have been racing for a long time to lead the Islamic countries. But the largest organization of Islamic countries, OIC, that is, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, remains dominated by Saudi Arabia. Still, these countries are now on their path to friendship. Apart from these two, the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad also visited UAE recently. However, earlier their relations were not good. The UAE sided with Syrian rebels in the 2011 Syrian civil war. In this civil war, both Saudi Arabia and UAE wanted President Assad to step down. Actually, President Bashar al-Assad is a Shia Muslim and the majority of Syria's population is Sunni. But the changing temperament of West Asia suggests that the Shia-Sunni wall will also collapse. It is being speculated that President Assad may be called in the Arab League summit, scheduled to be held in the month of May this year. It seems that the Syrian crisis in the region since 2011 is going to end. On the other hand, the war in Yemen is also in its last phase. According to the news, an arrangement to end the war has already been prepared, and an announcement in this regard can be expected before Eid. In such a situation, the question is, where does India stand amidst the growing cohesion of these countries? Actually, India has wider interests in West Asia. India's cultural, economic and trade relations with the countries of this region are deep and permanent. Beginning with maritime trade, the exchange of goods, services and cultures between the people of the Gulf region, including the western shores of the Arabian Sea and the southern and western states of India, reaches the pages of history. Moreover, at present, India is largely dependent on this region for its energy. About 90 lakh Indians work here. These people send billions of dollars in the form of remittances. India has good bilateral relations with major countries in the region such as Saudi Arabia and Iran. In such a situation, when these countries are uniting, it is a good sign for India. But the question is, what has India been doing to establish its foothold in this region? In general, it seems that India is not making any effort at its level in the region, but it's not true. Actually, every country has its own limit. India cannot match China in every respect. There is a huge gap between China and India. Despite this, it is important to understand that historically India's West Asia policy has been multifaceted. From the beginning, India has taken special care of its relations with the Islamic countries of the Gulf. When India was warming up its relations with Israel as part of its efforts to diversify its diplomatic ties, India did not jeopardize its traditional ties with Muslim countries. On the other hand, India is hosting the G20. That is why India has invited the President of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, as a special guest at the summit to be held in September. Along with this, the Sultan of Oman, Haytham bin Tariq Al Said, has also been invited to the event. Apart from this, India had signed a CEPA, that is, Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, with the UAE in the past. Overall, oil, trade and mobility of migrants have sustained the historical ties between India and the Gulf. The way forward hinges on developing a paradigm that takes into account the strategic, political, economic and security dimensions. But China's strong presence in the region can be a cause of concern for India. Therefore, India now needs to take strategic steps here with double efforts to balance China apart from Pakistan. India has already taken steps in this direction. India is a member of organizations like I2U2 to serve its interests in this region. India is the founding member country of this organization along with Israel, United Arab Emirates and America. This organization is being called the Quad of West Asia. It is also being seen as an effort towards balancing China in the region. However, it will be interesting to see what the changing politics in West Asia will spell for India. So that's all in today's episode. See you in the next episode, but before that, let's note down the question based on today's story. Highlight the strategic changes taking place in West Asia. Also explain India's position in this region.